Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Welcome back to the special presentation of the documentary Coming Out Under Fire. We're back again with John Forrett, commander of the Alexander Hamilton Post 448 in San Francisco, and Laura Slattery, a peace activist and a member of Knights Out, which is a group of former West Point graduates, right, who are now active in the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal movement.
Yes.
You know, the momentum seems to be building with President Obama on down and some of his military top leaders to re-examine the issue towards possibly repealing it. Do you think the military is ready to implement this kind of a change, Laura?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Knights Out is one of the missions of Knights Out is to help prepare the military. West Point makes leaders. And as leaders, we want to lead on this issue as well. And for the last 3 or 4 years, the chair of Knights Out has gone up to West Point and had meetings with the tactical officers and trainings, really, with the tactical officers on how to deal with gay and lesbian cadets.
Really, a class?
In your unit.
Like Gays and Lesbian 101?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, an instruction period. And also, I think we started the discussion talking a little bit about Lieutenant Dan Choi, who's been in the spotlight quite a bit, who's also a member of Knights Out.
And who also came out on national television and put his career in jeopardy.
Indeed, for saying the 3 words, I am gay, on the Rachel Maddow show. Each year, alumni are allowed to walk with 1,000 new cadets on their way. It's like a 13-mile road march on their way back into West Point. And Dan Choi, this last year, was one of those people. He walked right with all the 1,300 soldiers, new cadets, and was very, very well received. And they also have just called Dan Choi back to his unit. And I don't know if he's going to be able to go deploy again, but the commander knows a good soldier when he sees it, gay or not. He wants Dan Choi to serve with him.
What does that
the
say?
Army is ready, I think.
What does that say about the generational difference in terms of acceptance?
Well, it's clear. It's very clear. The younger generation is more accepting and open to understanding that there are people with different likes and dislikes. So it's the older generation that's really stuck on this. The younger generation knows that ever since some of the things they've seen on TV, the media, the press, everything, there's been a lot of exposure showing gays and lesbians, they're not child molesting people with twirling their mustaches in the shadows and they're waiting to jump your kids and everything.
You have characters like Will and Grace on television, and people have families where members are gay and lesbian, and so they're more familiar with it.
Well, like Ellen DeGeneres, she came out on national television, now she's a judge on American Idol. So what does that say? That says people are really just open to, if someone's a professional person, if they're of quality character, if they're what is needed for the job or task at hand, why does it matter who they are and who they sleep with?
But what will it take the military to enforce this down the line? Is it just a matter of issuing the order and it'll happen? It can't be that easy.
Absolutely. It's just that easy. When the Commander-in-Chief and the Congress of the United States of America say, this is the policy, this is what it's going to be done, I'm telling you, servicemen, sailors, airmen, Marine, they do their job. They're professional. We have one of the finest armed forces in the world. And if they're told that's the policy, they're going to follow orders. It's not going to be the sky is falling like it was when they integrated the blacks into the military during my father's generation when he served in the United States Army.
Everybody predicted catastrophe then.
It was going to be terrible. The blacks, they're going to come in, they're going to destroy everything. The unit morale, unit cohesion will be destroyed.
The same
They
arguments.
may not have used those exact words, but it was what they meant. Yeah. And guess what? Nothing happened. It took time to integrate them, and it took time for them to get their rights and to be recognized properly from the time when they were Buffalo soldiers to the time when they were actually integrated as full servicemen and women, but it wasn't that big a deal.
And Laura, in your experience, you were like one of the first 10 classes at West Point that allowed women in,
Indeed,
and I'm sure you went through the same kind of challenges.
Sure, and there was some resistance. And we're talking about a much bigger change, allowing women into the academy. We're talking a 200-year history, and integrating women into that club, that was an all-boys club up to that point, was a huge step. Gays and lesbians are already serving. and from what you said, openly, in many cases. This is a small step. And yet when the president commanded that the academies were going to be integrated, they were integrated within a year. And there was some problems, right? Some people were resistant, but everyone complied. And they worked to change policies so that everyone, and they had sexual harassment classes, and they had all sorts of training to help people adjust.
And are all the problems, in your view, sorted out with women at least? Probably not,
well, that's a whole different issue, yeah. And I think misogyny in our society exists, and it exists in our military as well. And I think that's probably the root of a lot of the fear about gays serving in the military. I think the root is misogyny, and so that is the problem with, I think, some of the sexism in the military as well. And
homophobia in this case. John, this is a political debate as well. Congress has to repeal this act. Are you fearful that, those who are so stridently opposed to gays and lesbians being out in the military will hinder this process and hinder the repeal?
Well, you got to ask yourself, there's another thing that we haven't even talked about. When I was lobbying Congress over the many times I've been to Washington, D.C. to lobby against this policy, one of the things I would tell the Republican congressmen who looked me in the eye and say, why? Why do I want to let some immoral people in? Or why do I have to agree to getting gays in? I said, well, don't look at it that way. How about you do this? How about you say, there's a whole bunch of folks that want to serve in the military. They're professional people, but they can't because they're not willing to lie about who they are. So they're not going to say that they're straight when they're gay. And how about all these people we're forcing to serve 4, 5, and 6 terms overseas, away from their wives, their children, their jobs, and everything? They're stuck there because they can't get quality people in. They're even, do you know that there's even former gang members now in the military? They've lowered the standards so low that they're letting in people who have had misdemeanor or felony convictions so that they can get the numbers they need. How about they let quality professional people in who just happen to be gay, let some of those folks come home? That's what I would say to those Republicans, and that was the argument that got them to change their mind, that maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to let the gays and lesbians serve. So it all depends on what's on their agenda. So my long answer to you is yes, I think the Congress of America is going to see that it's fiscally right, it's morally right, for national security it's right, and by God, its time has come.
John Forrett and Laura Slattery, thank you very much for the insight you provided in this debate that continues to go on and will be in the headlines undoubtedly the rest of this year. Tell us briefly what, if people are interested in Nights Out, how they can get a hold of you.
They can go to our website at www.nightsout.org, and Nights Out is spelled with a K, and sign up as an ally and follow the debate, and where possible, like the Courage Campaign and SAGALA, which is the Service Academies Gay and Lesbian Association. Sorry about that, SAGALA. A lot of folks are working on this issue. Yeah. Just plug in and...
And your group, John?
Yes, the Alexander Hamilton Post 448 of the American Legion. You can reach us by looking at our website at post448.org. And by the way, if you're gay or lesbian or straight, and you're either in the military or you're out of the military, you can join the American Legion. If you're a son of a veteran, you can join our Sons of the American Legion, or you can simply join our association.
Thanks again to both of you for being here.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.